What's up? Good morning, y'all. Glad y'all could join us. It is a absolutely beautiful morning out here in Mississippi. Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to every one of y'all, including my wife, my mom, grandma, all them. Such an awesome time, a great day. So I hope y'all have the best days that y'all could possibly have. We love y'all very much. Again, thank you for being here. It's a lot of fun. This guy needs no introduction. And so we're just going to bring him right on. Brian Nichols, what's up, my man?
What's up? How you doing? Thanks for having me on, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. How's life with you?
Life is busy, but busy is good. The show has been blowing up over the past, year or so, which has been very exciting. And with that, we've been reaching a lot of people, which has been like in itself, knowing what we're doing at the show, which is focusing on helping people sell liberty, sell these ideas that we talk about every single day, and starting to see that the conversations change, starting to see people asking better questions, starting to learn how to listen more and piquing people's interest, starting to solve problems. It's getting me excited. But I'm doing 4 days a week here at the show. We got our Sunday candidate highlight series. So we're recording here on Sunday, Mother's Day. And I had a conversation with Eve Brownstein. She's running for lieutenant governor over in New Jersey. And it was funny. Nice. We recorded the conversation a few weeks ago, right? And the conversation ended up just coincidentally talking about her being a mom and realizing how being a mom, she had a variety of children with a variety of needs, and how it speaks to just the individualism that is inherently throughout our society. And it was seen right there in the microcosm of her own children, and talking about her being a mom and having to deal with that. And I was like, how perfect did that work out that was the episode we ended up airing for the Sunday highlight series, right?
Awesome.
But no, then otherwise 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're having conversations with folks across the board, C-level executives, economists, entrepreneurs, politicians, and more. And we're trying to have conversations that leave people educated, enlightened, and informed. So yeah, man, it's been a blast. I'm humbled to see the response we've been getting. And honestly, the best part about what I get to do is I get to talk to cool people like you. So hey, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, appreciate it. No, I mean, I feel the exact same way. This is the best part about this, besides the learning aspect and having people like you on there, so professional and kind of, looking at you as a model and all that, or you know what I mean, like a model show and how you do things, entrepreneur and all that. But it's just incredible to watch your success. Like I told you before when we were just on, you were one of the first people that popped across my radar when I first started really diving in. So you're like a legit Libertarian to me.
That term's still so weird to me, Libertarian. I don't buy that, but I'll take it, sure.
Yeah. So I've had a couple of people try to give me that label too. I say the same thing. I don't know about that. But yeah, so you've got some wild success in all this. And something that's, I think what you were just talking about is so good for you is your sales and marketing.
Yeah, that's my number one approach to the show is focusing on how can we take these ideas that are sometimes difficult to break down to their very common denominator to your average person, and make it so it's not these alien ideas, but rather pertinent to the issues that currently are mattering to people right now. Right? We libertarians, we know a lot of stuff, and we want people to know about this awesome philosophy that I would say for a majority of us has changed our lives, and in many cases for the better, right? So we have this internal desire. We want to go out and tell people how awesome it is, but guess what? People don't care. and here's the reality. People don't care what it is that you have to promote, what you have to sell, so long as it's solving the problem that they currently have. So what we need to do better at, and this is what we've been focusing on at the Brian Nichols Show, is focusing on how can we enter into those conversations that people are already having in their own minds. And while we do that, make sure that we're helping address those problems that they see around them with libertarian or liberty solutions. And once we're able to start to solve their problems and show the merits of our ideas in their real life, none of this pie in the sky hypothetical stuff, but rather things that are making their lives substantially better right now, that is when we're going to find the most success. And that's what I've been trying to do at the show, is taking these hard to understand ideas. Like, let's not talk about the non-aggression principle or property rights. Let's talk about it in easy to understand ideas. Like, I don't know, don't hurt people. Don't take people's stuff, right? Like something that's easy for your average person to understand, because that's who we need to speak to, your average person.
I love exactly what you're saying right now, because it ties perfectly into what it is that I felt like my show has organically grown into. And that is something that I take very personal. And it's using practical application in our lives,
Mm,
not lofty. It's good to have lofty goals. I have lofty goals, but on a, looking on a micro level, practical application and to be able to communicate that, being a master communicator. And that's clearly what's coming across the radar here with you. And I want to point something out too, that Eskimo we were talking, and she said that Spike told her she needed to listen to your show to see how you presented information. So that's confirmation. And right now this conversation is confirmation that you're a master communicator, and that ties in great with sales and marketing and pitching ideas. And I kind of don't like the sales and marketing term when we're applying it to principle, because it
mm,
makes it a little bit callous, but it still works for me. You know what I'm
yep.
saying? We
Yeah.
have to be able to communicate, and we have to be able to communicate so well that people understand it.
Mhm. Yeah, well, and not so much. Don't even focus so much on the communicating, because this is one thing I think people get stuck on is like, how do I make people believe that libertarian ideas are right? Right? That's not our
Yeah.
goal, and that shouldn't be our goal. Right? Our goal should be rather just solving the problems they see around them. Because I don't know about you, buddy, but like I've always found that in life, the best way that I've learned is when I don't realize I'm learning. It's like,
Right.
think about the analogy of when the kid touches the stove, right? You're like, you can only warn them so many times until they touch the stove. And like, it's that touching the stove and feeling that pain. That's a learning moment. It's like,
That's right.
oh, that is hot and that will hurt me. And it's on us to help them in not hurting them, but rather helping them. And how do we help them? We help them by helping solve those problems, by offering those solutions. So don't go in trying to drown them in saying, how can I make Murray Rothbard, or how can I make Hayek, or how can I make Mises or Friedman, how can I make it more digestible? No, instead say, how can I take those ideas that I so well already understand and now go into where that person is and apply it, make their lives better right now, offer those solutions instead of just coming in with this grand philosophical approach to trying to solve their problems in their worldview from, like you said, like this one gigantic, macro approach. It's almost like what we do in sales. And I, have a sales team, and we talk about what we focus on for our metrics that we're aiming every single month. And at the end of the month, you're like, wow, that's a lot that we have to hit. But it's like, okay, if we take that, from a not a monthly basis, but rather a weekly basis, and then a daily basis, how do you eat that elephant? One bite at a time. It makes it much more manageable. And the same thing is true when we're trying to sell liberty. We have to approach it one step at a time, build up that foundation of trust. And then once people start to say, oh, you're not just people who are going to talk about this stuff, you actually are solving my problems, that's when we can have a more long-term, in-depth conversation about libertarian ideas and philosophy and get them all, excited about that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's perfect. And I have a very advantageous 9-to-5 gig where I meet a lot of new people every day, and I meet a lot of new people of different walks from all over the world every day, because we have people here from all over the world. And something that's very easy for me is I get to carry on these conversations with these random people every single day, and there's not a single conversation that I couldn't find one way to weave in. That's where the government is intrusive. And then we can start there, and I say this all the time, that one little thing, hey, the government sucks, this is why. And it doesn't have to be a lot more than that. We can all find common ground in that subject matter.
Yeah, well, and don't even, I'd say right there, government sucks. You don't even have to say that anymore. People know.
Exactly.
Look at this past year of the pandemic response. People know how much the government sucks, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, or you're, in the between somewhere in there. But like, if you just saw how the government reacted across the board from a federal level, especially, and that's not even a Trump thing. That's just looking at the overall inefficiencies that are built intrinsically in our systems. The bureaucracies, they incentivize the status quo, which is moving along slowly to get along, because we don't want to get uncomfortable with looking at new advancements. We have our what's working. Let's keep it from what's working, and then all of a sudden you have the life-changing event, the meteoroid, or in this case, a global pandemic.
That's right.
And now all of a sudden it's like, hey, guess what? We have to get a vaccine ready ASAP. And you know what happened? Moderna had the vaccine, the mRNA vaccine ready in a week. A week. And guess what? We didn't have it available for people for use until how many months later? And all that was because the various, I think it's the FDA in this case, they stopped Moderna from going ahead and distributing a vaccine that they knew would work. Now, just imagine, okay, now let's go back to, Libertopia. Let's just say we didn't have this government regulation in place, and we were able to say, just imagine, for a world where Moderna's like, hey, right now you're in a world of COVID pandemic. Things are hitting the fan, right? That the proverbial crap is hitting the fan, and we have a vaccine. It's new. It's based on this new mRNA technology, but we're 99.9% confident that's going to solve your problem. Now, we're not going to push us on anybody, but if you want to try this vaccine, it's on you. Here, it's available, and it's open. Let's go.
I mean, that's basically what we got now.
Well, that's what it would have been now, right? But what's happening now? The world's kind of opening back up. But imagine if we had done this back in February.
That's what I'm saying.
March 2020, right? That's a story we can tell as libertarians to say, what if we had removed this gigantic obstacle out of the way? And then we can start to say, well, here, look at this. Here is what Dan Taxation is Theft Berman, who's running for Texas governor, is doing. He is going down to Mexico, and he's bringing in cost affordable insulin from Mexico. He's buying at cost in the free market and selling it to people who they're like, oh, this would have cost me 4, 5, 6 times more if I bought it from the pharmaceutical companies here in the United States, but I can buy it from you cheaper. Why? Oh, that's a conversation starter. And he's actually solving the problem. That's how you actually turn people from saying, oh, this is a philosophy to, oh, this is going to make my life better. And that's right there, a perfect example of how we can show not just our ideas work, but actually solve those problems right now.
Yeah, and that's awesome. That's actually very personal for me because I'm a type 1 diabetic.
There you go. See?
And so, I mean, that that's awesome. I didn't know that. That's incredible.
Oh, yeah. I'll hook you up with Dan afterwards because Dan's been doing this work down there in Texas, and he's showing people firsthand, like, hey, look you can buy this insulin at like actual market value from me directly. Or you can go to your, through your insurance, have to spend, exorbitant amounts of money extra because of those built-in extra costs that are completely arbitrary. It's insane, but everybody knows it. And this is the thing, like everybody knows that something's wrong, that like the system is broken. What we have right now isn't working. Right. And we're the ones who we've been screaming that it's broken from the longest time. So people know by now, like, okay, we get it, guys. Like, it's broken, but now it's on us to start solving those problems. And that's why I think, what Dan's doing is a perfect example of how we can actually put our money where our mouths are and lead by example and help make people's lives actually better. And that's why I've been focusing so much on local elections. Like, let's focus on federal elections, but let's also focus on where we can win. Where can we win? Local elections. Why? Because we can make the most influence with the most people in this direct contact way where you kind of get that more personal connection, that authenticity that people are looking for, and also that humanity that people are looking for. If you're a business owner in your community and you're a libertarian and you've been kind of quiet about politics, but you've seen your community been going downhill more and more, and there's a particular issue that is an overtly libertarian issue, then you're like, hey, I'm pretty confident that I could run on this issue, get people on board with this issue, and we can get this issue done, whether it's, garbage collection or zoning laws, whatever it may be, and run on that. And then once you get that law into action, or rather reversing a law, you can start to see the solutions that are out there. And then people will start to tie, oh, by the way, that was the Libertarian mayor that put that policy into action. That was the Libertarian council member, like Trisha Butler down in Clarksville, Tennessee, who was on the show a couple weeks ago. Yeah, like that's where we can start to not just say, oh, this is our idea. We can start to point to now examples of it working, where we're having the real solutions actually helping people's lives. And then once we build up like that resume, right? What are people looking for when they go from job to job? They're looking to build up that resume, right? So that's what we're doing right now is we're just building up the resume. And when people see the resume and they see the cred of saying, oh, not only am I going to be voting for this Libertarian Party, I'm voting for you and I trust you. That's when we can actually get people to stay for the long term. And that's what we need to do is get people to become libertarians by just becoming libertarians because they see the value of libertarian policy. It's not and it's not the Ayn Rand approach where you have to get them to become libertarian because they believe in the libertarian ideas, but rather they're just going to be like, oh, this is overtly libertarian in its nature. And they don't have to necessarily know it, but they're going to experience it and they're going to see the value in it firsthand.
Yeah. I mean, every day. And That's incredible. Again, I'm tying this own show right here into what you're talking about and what you're doing. As this thing has grown organically, that's who I've got on, because I got sick and tired of hearing that we can't win, because I don't believe that. And so I've got these people that are coming on the show that are winning. Okay. We are so focused on the federal government like it's religious. No, we have things to do in our community. I'm bringing people on that are doing that. Just like you say, I didn't know about him. That would be awesome to get hooked up with him. But people everywhere, like Trisha, like Sasha Cohen, you know, and all these state
chairs. There we go. I had to put a note down and get you hooked up with Dan. I don't want to forget.
No, you're good. No, yeah. I mean, everything's so busy, and we talked about that before the show too. I mean, you're an early guy. You know, you get up early and you work out and then get your day started. You have a packed day. Tell us what it's like to be Brian Nichols just from 9 to 5 or 5 to 10.
Say it's actually more accurate. 5 to 10. Yeah, my day pretty much starts every day at 5 in the morning. I get my workout in. And I, pretty much 6 days a week, I'll do some form of exercise. I try to get my at least back buys, chest tries, shoulders, legs, and then, nice. Some cardio's in as well. And of course, I get core, abs in, then, get ready for my day. I for my 9 to 5, well, it's not 9 to 5, it's like 8:30 to 5, but I'm a director of sales and sales development and marketing at a telecommunications and cybersecurity company in the East Coast. And we're helping solve C-level executives, IT directors, IT managers problems on a day-to-day basis, from the traditional hosted VoIP systems, unified communication platforms, omni-channel integrations, to SD-WAN, fiber, let's see, external, internal penetration testing, vulnerability scanning. There's so many things that my company focus on. But anyways, that's what I focus on. My 9 to 5 is helping, teach a sales team, guide the sales team, mentor the sales team, but also doing marketing stuff for the company. It's been very rewarding in being able to not only solve the business problems, but just to see firsthand the value of what the marketplace will provide and helping solve problems. That was really cool as well. And then it helped sharpen my skills for where the second half of my day when I come home from work is pretty much going right into the podcast, doing something of the sorts, going into interviews with people on my show, either doing solo episodes, doing my videos for other, like what we're doing here today on other people's episodes and such.
That's right.
So yeah, that's pretty much my day. And then I wrap things up. I'll probably, go ahead, go through, respond to some emails, go try to catch up on some messages.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of stuff in terms of content I try to pump out after that. And then I do wind down, and believe it or not, one of my favorite games to play. And I know I'm such a dweeb. I love Fortnite though. I am such a Fortnite nerd.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I crank 90s like nobody's business. No, yeah, and this is something I actually don't think I've ever really talked about this. I'm a huge Fortnite player. I also love Madden.
Love Madden. Love Madden.
Okay, there we go.
My favorite game of all time.
Okay, right here. Favorite football team?
Saints.
Saints. Okay, so I respect that. I'm a Cowboys fan, so like you're like the next door neighbor to the Cowboys. Yeah. But now I'm from upstate New York originally, so I have no reason to be a Cowboys fan except for the fact that like I grew up in the '90s watching them, and my dad was a Cowboys fan, so I kind of was like, hey, I'll be a Cowboys fan. And everybody was making fun of me when I moved to Philadelphia because I was here in 2017 when they won the Super Bowl. And actually, I'm not sure. Are you familiar with Fritz from Fritzcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know of it.
Okay, well, he's a good buddy. And Fritz is a huge Eagles fan, so he was definitely busting my chops. He's like, Brian, come on, you live in Philadelphia and you got to see the Eagles win the Super Bowl. Like, you should become an Eagles fan now, right? And I was like, it doesn't work that way. But yeah, no, huge Madden fan, huge Fortnite fan. And I wrap up lights out 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Because I'm an old man. So yeah, that's a day in the life of Brian Nichols. Yeah, it's not too exciting, very busy. But I tongue in cheek, it is exciting. I get to talk to some really cool people. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah. So I have to talk about this too because I'm such a huge fan, and you have some great paraphernalia back there. I'll show mine off first. I didn't know we were going to get into this.
There we go. Yeah,
but, we are huge Office and Parks and Recs fan. Look at that.
We got like the Dwight Schrute face mug, which I actually think is discontinued. So right there behind him, you see Michael Scott peeking over the corner. Yeah. That was from a farmer's market in Philadelphia. This person, had screen print like these little black and white images of these random characters or personalities. So I have a Michael Scott, and then downstairs in the kitchen, you got a Guy Fieri. Got a Dundee Award there. You got the bobblehead that Angela gets Dwight. And then behind my "Don't hurt people, don't take people's stuff," bumper sticker is the little cherub that Ryan gets whittled from Mose after
nice.
Mose is wearing
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fear
yeah.
shirt.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to see. Is there anything else up there that you can peek? No, I think that's pretty much all the Office stuff. And then I have one over there. It's a Michael Scott from the Christmas episode. Yeah, I got a lot of random like Office paraphernalia here, and this is just the office here, like my actual studio. But at my actual office for work, I have even more stuff. So, you call me on a day I'm wearing my "Don't Hurt People, Don't Take People's" shirt.
I love it.
But bumper sticker shirt from Matt Kibbe's "Free the People."
Nice.
But usually I'll have a variation of an Office shirt. I was actually just wearing yesterday my Andy Bernard when they go to beach days. And he's an inflatable sumo suit.
Yes,
he gets stuck on his back, and he's like,
yeah.
Andy Bernard. I was with a company called Thunder Mifflin. It's him floating across on the shirt.
Yes,
so
indeed.
yeah, I'm a huge Office fan. It's easily my favorite TV show. But I will tell you, I have really, really started to enjoy What We Do in the Shadows on Hulu. It's on FX, I think, but it's based in the movie by Taika Waititi, and it's basically the mockumentary version of that you'd see in The Office, but it's vampires in Staten Island in like 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's probably one of my top 5 TV shows of all time. And it's probably one of the best TV shows right now, like airing as like a narrative driven show. And I have to qualify that because my other favorite TV show running right now is Impractical Jokers, because Impractical Jokers is just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. I know a lot of people that like that show.
It's so fun.
We're actually Office is probably our number 1, and then Parks and Rec's number 2. So I often wear this shirt.
Little Ron Swanson, the OG Libertarian.
The OG Libertarian. Yes, indeed. And so, man, I absolutely love that. Just more. I didn't know about the Madden thing, dude. My little brother commented in here. He said, "Used to destroy me in Madden." Like, yeah, that was my favorite game of all time.
He's better got the receipts. He can't go after the bro like that without those receipts.
No, and he's my little bro too, so it was never fair.
See, I grew up in the middle of nowhere, New York, where I actually didn't have like broadband internet, what we think in the term of like your traditional cable modem, because I literally lived in like the middle of nowhere. So I pretty much the only time I would get to play against people is when you'd have somebody come over to the house or you go to somebody's place. So otherwise, I was just playing Madden by myself, and I'm playing and then I'd be like, okay, you know what? Like, it got to the point where you got so good because you're playing against the CPU, so you're like constantly doing all Madden, and then you would like go and play other people, and you just like destroy them. And I was like, I need to get online and play like against like other people. And then I went to college, and I remember I had my Xbox 360, and I was like, all right, let's hook this bad boy up to the internet, and I got destroyed. I thought I was so great, and then I was like, okay, we're starting at level 1 again. Here we go.
Nice. Yeah, that's always fun though, to start over like that and keep building up. I love it, man. I love that. I got 3 kids now, so video games just ain't a thing anymore for me. But I used to play Madden every day of my life for many, many, many years.
It's so addicting. I love franchise mode too. That's just like, so my dream job when I was like a junior in high school, like, I wanted to be a music producer for the longest time, but then I was like, if I could really have a fun dream job, I would want to be a general manager for an NFL team. I think that would just be, I know there's like a lot of slings and arrows that go with it, but like just the team building and like the scouting, I love. Listen to the draft podcasts to learn about every single player. I listen to like all the Dallas Cowboys podcasts because I want to hear about everything that's happening on the team, why it's happening. So yeah, I really love like that nitty gritty, like inside football stuff. I guess we would say.
Yeah. No. I listen to I listen to a lot of AM radio too, so I'm there with you, especially during football season. I'm a huge baseball fan. I played baseball for almost all my life, definitely all through school. Played other sports as well. Still love to play old man 3-on-3 basketball is my favorite thing to play right now. So, but yeah, and you're big into health and fitness as well, like we talked about earlier. You get up real early and work out, and I actually want to talk about that later. I've done a couple of solo segments, like you were talking about mental health. And full disclosure here, y'all, I apologize for my ignorance. I did not know it was Mental Health Awareness Month when I started doing all this. It's very important in our personal lives. And so it's like that's a day-to-day thing. I didn't even know it was a monthly awareness thing when I started going off on it. But working out and getting your blood flowing and your heart rate up and excreting those toxins on a daily basis, how important is that?
It's so important. I mean, not only from a physical standpoint of getting your blood going, getting the toxins out of your body, but also just from the sense of like the mental focus. You are
Yeah.
starting your day off in a sense of meditation almost, because now it's you versus you. And for example, I like to work out at home. In the era of COVID, I would go to before the era of COVID, rather, I'd go to the gym.
Right.
And I love going to the gym, but then, the gym shut down, everything
Yeah.
shut down, and you had to adapt. So
Yeah.
I was fortunate. My wife and I had a set of those Bowflex adjustable weights at our
Oh.
house. So, and we'd already had those, which thank God, because one of my coworkers for my day job was looking when the COVID pandemic started, and he's like, where did you get those, Nichols? And I was like, oh, I don't remember where we got them, but we got them back in like 2018, 2019, early 2019. It was like, I think $300. And he's like, are you serious? He's like, I went online and they're like $750 right now. I was
Holy
like, yeah, and they go up to like 52.5 pounds. So they're not, super heavy by any stretch, but I mean, they're enough to get the job done. So, I was using those a lot. And I've been using those. I have a set of those and then other free weights as well. And I do lifting as with a combination of the at-home Team Beachbody workouts. I love those. I know that they get a lot of like culty rap for some reason. I don't get it. Like, I mean, I do get it, but at the same point in time, they've changed so many people's lives, and like that's not a bad thing. Like getting people healthy is not a bad thing, because you look at who was the number one person killed in an era of COVID? It was the obese person, the morbidly obese.
That's right. That's right. I told people every day.
It was 70-80% of people who were obese were dying from COVID. So not only is it a great chance for you to get healthy, but I say as well, going back to the mental standpoint, for me, I work out in my basement in the morning. And it's one-on-one. I have my headphones in. I have my Bose noise canceling headphones, the in-ear headphones, and I'll put the sound canceling on, and I'll just go ahead and listen to music or listen to a podcast, and then it's just you versus you. And there's something it's very rewarding about working out, because even if you go to a truly libertarian standpoint, right? Like you will get out what you put into your workout.
Right. Exactly.
And there comes a certain point in the workout where you feel exhausted and you're like, I'm done. I can't do one more rep. And it's at that point where you have to say, no, you have to do another rep. You have to keep going. And once you start to realize that a lot of the boundaries that you put in your in front of you to slow you down are all mental boundaries. It's your body trying to slow you down, because it's like, hold on, we're getting out of our comfort zone. Time out. Like cult things, please let us catch up. But that's okay, because you don't get better by just keeping it on the easy mode, right? Let's look at Madden. Let's go back to Madden. Yeah. If I had just stayed on my easy mode, normal mode, I would have gotten even more destroyed. Instead of losing 70-0, I would have lost 90-0 when I went online. So at least as you progress and you're constantly trying to always increase the level of difficulty, whether it's in the video games or in life or in the conversations you're having. I mean, one of the reasons, let's be real, the reason people don't like sales is because it's hard. Yeah. It requires you to go and enter into a conversation with people that they are having. And it's about usually something that you are not maybe as passionate about, but they're super passionate about. Now, you want to talk about the number one thing that you're super passionate about because you think they need to care about it. Yeah. Guess what? They don't care. So that's why it's hard, because you have to be able to adapt and be able to talk about what they're caring about and then weave it back to whatever it is that you're trying to sell. And in this case, what you're trying to sell is a better future, a better solution to the problems that they see out there, and the solutions that have been presented to them. And it's just been more and more government. And at the end of the day, we have to ask them, has things got better? Has your life gotten better? That's right. And they'll tell you, And it's on us to then say, hey, listen, well, here's what you've been doing. Here's what I'm proposing. Would it make sense to at least consider this other option? And to get them to start thinking a little differently, right? That requires us to, get uncomfortable, whether it's in life, in our conversations that we're having, or if it's in life with what you're doing in terms of lifting weights. I think it all plays hand in hand, this greater, fitness and in Liberty world. I mean, one of my most random guests was, and I'm so grateful that he's in our greater Liberty movement now, is Mark Lobliner. Mark is the chief marketing officer from tigerfitness.com.
Oh, wow.
Dude is, health fanatic. He is ripped, and he has joined the greater Liberty movement. as an advocate and
Awesome.
really a great mouthpiece. And, he was on
Yeah.
my show last time he was on. He's been on a couple times too, which is great because he loves like talking this stuff. And he's like now considering running for office. This is a chief marketing officer, professional bodybuilder considering running for office. And like we need more of that, more real people who are just getting tired. They're fed up with what the status quo has been. And they're willing to jump in and make a difference to make people's lives better. We can point to people like that who, I mean, he sees it. He was like, why are we being told to stay indoors and not go outside and not work out in an era where you're almost 99.9% certain that being obese is probably going to put you more at risk for this thing? He's like, so it just doesn't make sense. He was saying this in March and April. And yet, if you question that, if you said, is this really the narrative we should be going with? You were labeled a science denier, and you want people to die. So, like, we need more people who are awake and they're willing to have real conversations, and they're authentic people like Mark. I mean, goodness, if we can start to get more people like him to speak out, I think we're going to be in a much better spot than we've been for the longest of times. It's starting to change, man. The conversations are changing. People are starting to wake up, and it's a great time to have an opportunity to talk to more people like we are right now.
I mean, it's incredible. I see it every time I do this. It's the same story, or it's just a little different. It's so intense. And it's so every one of y'all that comes on is speaking the same language. Like, we need we need the boots on the ground, and we start on a micro level. Of course, we have a macro vision, but it's that everyday boots on the ground, solving one problem at a time, face to face with practical application and ways that we can do it. And then just letting them know who we are. It's not about saying, hey, you need to become libertarian. That's not for me anyway. I'm just going to show you, like, here's how we can do something better. And then when we get to the conversation that we have, I'm like, okay, well, yeah. And that's usually pretty quick. Hey, yeah, by the way, I'm libertarian. So, I'm involved with my state party. If you have questions, these are the things I'm working on. I know what most of y'all's concerns on. This is what my party's doing right here in your community today.
Yep. And hey, if this is something you're like, this is stuff that I could get better at, like, this is what I've really been focusing on over not only at my show, but just as a greater, like, the Brian Nichols Show network and part of the greater We Are Libertarians network. Like, I've been focusing, number one, we're building the Patreon. So I have 2 levels of Patreon, and this isn't a self-promotion by any stretch, but this is just a great chance to learn more. So it's entry-level sales and account executive levels. It's a $5 and $10 a month. And basically, you get the chance to enter in to have, these one-on-one conversations with yours truly, sales conversations, different sales tactics for Liberty, but even if you had general questions about, sales stuff in real life. Also, everybody's getting one of these awesome Don't Hurt People, Don't Take People's Stuff bumper sticker, because I want to be able to pique people's interest. That's something that we need to be able to do as libertarians, and we're not going to pique interest by throwing books at people. But number 2, I mean, speaking of books, because, like, hey, I know libertarians like books, and one of the things I thought would be really helpful would be an ebook to show about how you can sell liberty better to people. So I just wrote an ebook, and it just came out. It's 4 things you can implement right now to sell liberty to friends and family. And it's free. All you have to do, and it's briannicholsshow.com/liberty friends ebook. And you just put your email in the inbox. It'll pop in your inbox with the download. 8 quick pages. It's 4 quick steps, and it's stuff right now that we can do, like, you can do now. And that's the thing that I think is super important to take away, is that it's not like pie in the sky stuff that we talk about, like, down the road, hypotheticals, utopia stuff, but like, no, like stuff that you can actually do right now when you're talking to your coworkers at the water cooler, if you are living in a state where you can go back into your office and actually be a human again, if you are, going to a family gathering and you're outside and you're talking to somebody and they start talking about some issues that they're seeing in their life, how to be a better listener and to enter into that conversation as a problem solver versus just a complainer, how to, be able to pique interest, right? Like, things like that. We go through in that ebook. Again, it's free. Like, and I thought this would be a great resource that people can take away and utilize right now. So that is something that I've been really focusing on, is trying to help change the way that we're talking about liberty. And again, stop being like the preacher on the side of the road with the blowhorn, and instead start being those trusted advisors, being that problem solver. That's where we're going to have the most long-lasting results for sure.
Absolutely. Amen and a women. Hey, do me a favor when we get off of here. Put that link in the comments for everybody, if you don't mind, because I'd love that to get on there as well, that ebook.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Well, what's next for the Brian Nichols Show? What's next for you? Like, what's the future look like, the immediate future in your liberty movement?
Man, we have so many exciting things coming down the pike. So right now, the number one thing, we're growing the Patreon. The reason being, the network, we have some big things planned. We're growing leaps and bounds. The Brian Nichols Show, we've been seeing the numbers just climb every single, not every single week, but every single month. I mean, it's just tens. I mean, we're at the point now where I can say tens of thousands of downloads a month, and I'm like, what is happening?
Incredible.
And that's something that I'm starting to see across the board. The greater liberty movement is getting more and more traction as more and more people wake up. So my greater role I'm finding as this liberty movement is growing as well is trying to be the resource that there is out there to help people understand how to effectively communicate and sell these ideas. So one of the things we're going to be working on is, and I'll give you a sneak peek, I guess. I talked about this on a couple other shows, but right now we're going to be doing it's going to be a billboard / like marketing campaign, basically using libertarian memes in specific cities that are, focusing on issues that are pertinent to that city, and to get a double grassroots approach to growing the audience for it, as well as spending money on getting it physically there for other people outside of our movement to go ahead and see. So I'm excited. That's going to be down the road though. So I mean, that's a little bit of a sneak peek, but I'm excited because that's one thing that's coming down the road. Also, as we grow the Patreon, having more and more conversations, coaching opportunities. So there's a lot of stuff, man. So if people are interested, I'm doing a lot of stuff with in terms of growing not only the Patreon, but growing my email list over on Substack, and we're going to be doing a weekly newsletter as well. So yeah, if people are interested, they can go ahead and follow me on, and you can see it here, Twitter, Facebook, minds.com at @bnicholsliberty. Or if you want to go ahead and email me, my email's easy. It's brian@briannicholsshow.com. And yes, the show, it's briannicholsshow.com. You can find it on anywhere you get your podcasts, or we recently launched the YouTube channel. So you can go ahead to YouTube, follow me over there. And we have, again, every single episode airing. Actually, this is a nice little teaser for all you YouTube listeners. You get to see the video before the actual episode airs. So the episodes usually air Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you're a YouTube listener, you get to hear it airing every night the day before, 8 p.m. So you hear it Sunday night, Tuesday night, and Thursday night, respectively. So yeah, it's a nice little preview there for what the YouTube listeners can go ahead and get. But otherwise, Cajun, this has been a great conversation. And actually, I think these have been some like really fun conversation topics that I have never been asked on a podcast. And I'll tell you this. One of the best attributes of a salesperson is to have somebody say, wow, that's a really good question, or, oh, I haven't been asked that before. So, hey, you're asking the right questions, buddy. You're on the right path. Thank you so much for this conversation. It was a lot of fun.
Man, I appreciate that. That's an awesome compliment. Thank you so much. I had a great time. I thought it was super organic, and you're very passionate. Man, thank you for trailblazing, leading the way, setting the example. I mean, you're killing it out there, man. Keep it going. Hey, thank you for your leadership.
I'll tell you what, and I'll leave you with this. I am merely just the person bringing the people who have the know-how to the microphone. And I was actually just talking about this with my marketing guru, and I cannot emphasize enough, Chris Goizetta from Making It with Chris G. He was on my show as a guest. Now he's helping my show with marketing. And he's becoming quickly one of my very near and dear friends. Nice. And talking about how the conversations are changing, how we're making a difference right now. We're seeing things change for the better. I gotta tell you, buddy, like to see the positive responses that we've been getting, it's been very rewarding. And to know that we're playing a part in something bigger than what we thought we were at the beginning of all this. I came in, I wanted to educate, enlighten, and inform. I thought that was a tongue-in-cheek little fun thing to say to people. Now I'm realizing this is a real thing. People are looking so desperately to be educated, enlightened, and informed. So yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate you having me on, and thank you for asking all these great questions, man. I really do. I had a great time.
Man, that's so awesome. Thank you very much, Brian. We look forward to hearing from you really soon. Thank you for coming on, my man.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Keep it up.
Thank you. All right. Man, that was incredible. What a great conversation. I did not expect anything less. Dude's amazing. I hope that I can learn every day from him. And I hope we can all learn every day from the people that come on the show. It's absolutely incredible what we're seeing going on, and everybody has the same idea. It seems like, where we're just pushing forward, foot on the gas, no brakes, keep it going. Happy Mother's Day to all of you wonderful mothers out there. I love you very much. I love every one of y'all. Thank you for coming on. I'll let you know when we'll be back. All right.